Okay, now the fun part. It's time to turn these inside out. I'm going to show you several different ways that work. My favorite way is to use my small pair of hemostats. This is a 5-inch pair of hemostats, but this is, here's another pair of hemostats. This is what, a 6-inch pair. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So you can see this one's only an inch longer, but the jaws are much smaller on this pair. This is a $4 or $5 pair from Walmart, and it will work. This I ordered, I don't know, Amazon or maybe a Science and Surplus, but again, they're not very expensive, under $10. And with this really small nose here, it'll get up inside very easily. So this is what I recommend, and this is what I like to use, but I'm going to show you a couple of different ways, and this will work too. I'll give you an example of that one. A couple of other things that you can try. I have tried these tiny turning tubes. This is a really old pair. I don't think this company's even in business anymore. I didn't see them on the internet, but I'll show you how something like this works. And doll maker places do still sell tiny turning tubes. And the way that these work is you pick the biggest tube that will fit up inside there. You could actually, Hobby Lobby sells metal tubing. If you know how to cut it yourself, you could even do that. So you take the next size down and just poke that in, and you're not doing this. You're not doing that, okay? That's what confused me when I first started using this. Like, these don't work. But that's not what you're trying to do. All you're trying to do is fit this smaller one into the divot and then push. And so you have to really squeeze up here at the top. And once you get it going, it will turn inside out. See how that works? I personally don't like these, even though I know how to use them now. I don't think they're the easiest thing to use. So I don't recommend buying these for this purpose. I think these probably cost me a lot more than small hemostats did. I just wanted you to know, if you do have a pair of these and if this is your preferred method, it will work on these hands. Another method, this is a drinking straw. This is one of those paper drinking straws, and it's thinner than a regular drinking straw. It is kind of on the small side. I probably picked it up at like a Tuesday morning or something like that, because I like to buy stuff from their party section. But it fits in the fingers too if you have a small enough straw. And then I'm going to use my purple thing. This actually works very well to turn the fingers inside out. So that method, I didn't know that I liked this, but it's actually very easy to do. You could use an orange stick or something like that, but the purple thing is another thing I love to have next to the embroidery machine, and it works to turn these hands. So now you know. And then again, $4 hemostats from Walmart, and these are in the fishing aisle because fishermen use them to pull hooks out of fish mouths. It's kind of gross, but that's what they do, and they fit up in there. It's kind of hard to open though. You have to have this stretch jersey in order to use this pair. And then I'll put it in like that. So all of those methods work. My favorite though, the one that I use the most because it's the fastest, are the small hemostats. And when you're doing it, you put it all the way to the tip and then just pull back a little. See where, right here. And then use your thumbnail to push the seam between the jaws just a little bit. And then clamp down until it locks one time. Now we squeeze up at the top, put some pressure on it. I'm really squeezing, and as I pull down with those hemostats, it'll get that started, and then you can just pull it out. I'm going to do it on all of these guys. So this is regular time. I'm not speeding anything up. This is how long it takes me to turn these fingers inside out once you've practiced. I'm actually slowing it down a little bit. Open it up. See how I'm opening those up, and because we've got stretch fabric, we've got some room. Push that in there. I just realized I haven't been locking the jaws because I don't normally need to do it. Like that. I've got one more. And you do have to put pressure at the top. So another thing to know, if you put the hemostats in, you get the seam in the jaws, and if your hands are down here at the bottom and you pull, you are not going to have success doing that. You're going to be really frustrated. You have to squeeze all the way at the top, and that'll make it come down. So you have to put pressure right where the turning is happening. Now to get the rest of the hand turned in, I just grab a few of the fingers, pull them out, grab a few more, and at this point, probably trying to get that thumb too, you could go ahead and just use your hands, and we're going to peel that wrist back so the fingers pop out. And that's all there is to that. Same thing with this guy. It took me a lot longer than it normally would because I showed you, 4 different methods and had to do it kind of slow to explain. So with practice, these get really easy. I'm going to recommend that if you're new to doing doll hands, what you might want to try is just stitch up, I don't know, 3 pairs of hands. Not for a doll, but just to practice. Just stitch up a whole bunch with stretch fabric and practice. Play around. And when you do that and you have a bunch of extra, hang on and I'll show you. After you have a few that you didn't plan for a doll, maybe they're mismatched, you can always make a pencil topper out of them with your practice hands. So they don't go to waste. Make some practice hands. Play around with turning them inside out, with cutting them until you get it where you're satisfied. I've got 2 hands here. They are turned inside out. They're ready to be wired. And I'm looking for my supplies here. Ta-da! We're just going to use pipe cleaners to wire these. I've already cut some of these to save a little bit of time. These hands were designed to be wired with pipe cleaners in their fingers. That is what they were designed to do. You could put them on a doll without the wiring, and at the end I will show you an example of how to do that, but that's really not what they were designed to do. They were designed to have pipe cleaners put inside of them. I've got a 12-inch pipe cleaner here. That's pretty much the standard size. I did find them in a beige color because it'll blend with the skin, but if you don't have that, you have a white or something like that, that's fine too. And I'm going to cut 3-inch pieces. So one of my 12-inch pipe cleaners is going to give me, that wasn't 3 inches. You get distracted when you're talking on video. Okay. Let's see if I even have enough. There's 5. Nope. Okay. Even though this one is 2.5 inches, that's going to work. I'll just put it in there and I'll show you why it's going to work in a little bit. And then once you've got your pipe cleaners cut, I'm looking for my needle nose pliers. You want to just turn the ends and squeeze them down. And that way we don't have a sharp wire poking. It's still a little sharp. Again, like I said on the wired armature video, these are not intended for small children. You would never want to give them something with wires in it, even with the precautions that we're taking here. An older child or a teenager would be fine. Preteens actually like this type of doll because they're characters. So they like to do stuff, take photos for Instagram. Okay, I've got all the fingers done. Again, not for small children. Best for grown-ups. Not gonna lie, these are art dolls for home decor for grown-ups. Okay, I'm just going to stick the pipe cleaners in there. Here we go. Make sure I get the bent side. Just guide them up in there all the way to the end. There are other methods of doing this. This is just the one that I have learned to like the most. If you have another way that you want to try or that you have successfully done before, go right ahead. this is your project. And really the whole point of these machine embroidery designs to stitch the hands is to take all the tediousness away from having to stitch these on your sewing machine. We doll makers have spent many hours hunched over our sewing machine doing those little tiny stitches. Now the embroidery machine does all that hard work. So almost one more here. Okay, hands are wired. Now on yours, if your thread has matched your skin color, you should not see that. It won't be as obvious, but because I used a contrasting thread to show you when the stitching, what the stitching look like, I'll have those look like little talons. Now I'm going to peel the skin back away a little bit and twist those wires. Same thing over here. Just pull that out of the way. Twist those wires together. Okay,